Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I will be taking you a little bit all over the place, so I hope you will join me on this journey. Might be a little bit shorter video, however I think the content that I will provide to you, some of you are aware of, some of you are not, and there were some things that I have been discovering, and I'm going to share this with you as we go along with this video. But before I start, as I do it recently, I want to say huge thank you to two people who have donated yesterday on my PayPal account, supporting what I am doing. To John. John is a frequent supporter. Thank you, John, so much. And to Candice. And Candice left a comment under my latest video that her husband transitioned and things are tough, and she decided to donate. And I just don't want you to feel obligated, guys, that you have to do it. Candice, thank you so much. I very much appreciate your donation. Sometimes actually I feel guilty that you're doing this, guys, but at the same time I know that that's the way how you want to say thank you for things that I am trying to present to you. And again, you know, there are people who have different opinions. They choose to believe different things. That's their choice. I'm not criticizing this now. What I am doing is I'm trying to show you my perspective, and it looks like I'm not the only one who is really seeing how we have been manipulated. So guys, let's start with this video. We're gonna start with Trump, and you will see I will be connecting the dots pretty quickly after that. So let's take a look at this short video with Trump and Israel.
Kept promising. I never understood it until I got there. There was a lot of pressure put on these presidents. It was put on me too, but I didn't yield to the pressure. But every president for decades said, we're going to do it. The difference is I kept my promise and officially recognized the capital of Israel and moved the American embassy to Jerusalem. Isn't that right, Miriam? Look at Miriam. She's back there. Stand up, Miriam. Stand up. Miriam and Sheldon would come into the office. They'd call me. He'd call me. I think they had more trips to the White House than anybody else I could think of. Look at her sitting there so innocently. She's got 60 billion in the bank, 60 billion. And I think she's saying no more. And she loves Israel, but she loves it. And they would come in, and her husband was a very aggressive man, but I loved him. He was a very aggressive, very supportive of me. And he'd call up, can I come over and see you? I say, Sheldon, I'm the president of the United States. It doesn't work that way. He'd come in, but they were very responsible for so much, including getting me thinking about Golan Heights, which is probably one of the greatest things to ever happen to Israel. Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here.
All right, so some of you might be probably wondering, why am I showing you this? And that is because is very interesting how life is. We will get to that comment about me and Las Vegas. Very interesting. Before we get there to Las Vegas business and where the money was made, allegedly, most of the money, those $60 billion, he said. Well, if you look at the search for how much net worth this particular person has, I came across 37 or 38 billion dollars, but God only knows, because they're not gonna report all of it, right? Let's look at the short clip. You're gonna see this woman, Miriam, with her husband, late husband. Let's just take a listen to what they have to say, and then I'm gonna present you another very interesting video with both of them.
He said that the Adelson family has nothing to gain except that which is in our heart. I am not Israeli. The uniform that I wore in the military, unfortunately, was not an Israeli uniform. It was an American uniform, although my wife was in the IDF, and one of my daughters was in the IDF, and my two little boys, our two little boys, one of whom will be bar mitzvah tomorrow. Hopefully he'll come back. Thank you. Hopefully he'll come back. His hobby is shooting, and he'll come back and be a sniper for the IDF. All we care about is being good Zionists, being good citizens of Israel, because even though I'm not Israeli born, Israel is in my heart. Somebody said that the Adelson family has nothing to gain.
So if you didn't hear what he said, you actually had the subtitles there. He said, all I care about is to be a good Zionist and good Israeli, right? So let me now take you to another video, much older than this one. You know, she was, I think, #1 donor to Trump's campaign, as I heard. Maybe that's not accurate, but allegedly she was. For quite some time now, over 2 weeks, I went on this journey to talk about Chabad Lubavitch, this movement that is really, really strange movement, but a lot of leaders around the world have connections with that movement, as well as, of course, the people who are the wealthiest people, right? The billionaires, soon probably trillionaires. So here you're gonna see this person who was the main rabbi, Rabbi Schneerson, who they called in the Chabad Lubavitch the Messiah. They even call him the Messiah. This is the same Chabad Lubavitch that has the headquarters in Brooklyn, New York, where the tunnels were found, the strange tunnels story. This is the same movement, okay? So you're gonna see this couple, embracing this particular rabbi. There is no translation, guys, so just look at the video. There is a translator that is trying to translate, which is really awkward because the rabbi speaks English very well, but for some reason he is just using different language, talking to her and him. So let's take a listen. I mean, look.
Das ist schon nicht den Vibe, den Column. Video. Dann hast du 2 Wochen nicht so. Dann stark in der Namen des Chabad als Maxim.
Ja, also, danke. Ja. Und was tut mit Familie?
That's for you and that's for the family.
Yes.
I get Chassan mit 2 Wochen.
You'll give it on the day of your wedding.
Not just so.
That's swell. Go to Matabelecha. That will give is the day of your wedding.
יום החתונה הוא עושה את זה.
שבת שלום.
עכשיו, וזה יודעים בחתונה.
אני רוצה שתברך אותנו בילד.
למה לא שיחיד ילד צריך להיות אח לאחות לכל הפחות.
תברך אותי בזה.
תברך בשורות טובות והצלחה רבה. פסול יספיר. כאילו שכבר יש לך ילד בן ובת, זה בשביל הבן והבת הבנים. ברכה והצלחה.
Children to be born.
The children to be born. Okay. Thank you very much.
A son in the dozen.
I hope so.
All right, so it looks like that was recorded. As you could see the dates, 1991. They looked, she looked younger, right? The video was posted, I think, 2021. So this is the Lubavitcher Rabbi. Let's look into this family. And I have to say, guys, I swear I didn't know any of it at all. And I want to share personal story to you because in 2005, when I moved to the United States, and then I was working for many years in the high-end luxury boutiques, that was Louis Vuitton, Chanel, and many others in other cities. But in Las Vegas, I actually work at the Wynn Resort, first at Louis Vuitton, and then I work for a number of years at the Chanel boutique at the Wynn, and I open another Chanel boutique at the Encore, which is the second property when built next to the Wynn, Steve Wynn, next to the Wynn Resort. Many of you know, as far as Las Vegas goes, that Steve Wynn was one of those, let's say, architects of the modern Las Vegas, very close to Trump. I actually was there when Trump was visiting Steve Wynn, and it was the special invitation for the ground opening of the Encore Resort, the smaller resort next to the Wynn. It's connected. And I was there. So I knew the resorts, I knew the hotels. We had many clients, very wealthy people, of course. You work at Chanel, so that's the price tag, right? But, I didn't know any of this, what I'm reporting to you now. And to my surprise, and this is not really ignorance, it's just my focus, my interest was in fashion, was in other things, not so much into this, but how small the world is. Because that family, and many of you know, but some of you probably don't, I really just discovered it. They were, let me actually read this to you, how they make their money. Sheldon and Miriam Adelson made their money through the casino industry, starting with the purchase and development of the Sands Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas and its transformation into the Venetian. This is unbelievable. I have to say, I was like, oh my goodness, I've lived there for so many years and I had no idea about all those type of dynamics. I mean, I knew there were those families who operated in Vegas, right? Their fortune grew significantly with the expansion of their Las Vegas Sands Corp into Asian markets, particularly with the successful opening of casinos in Macau and Singapore, and the development of large-scale resort complexes. Before their casino empire, Sheldon Adelson built his initial wealth by organizing trade shows, most notably the Computer Dealers Exposition Comdex, actually just across the street from the Wynn Resort. You have the Fashion Show Mall the other side, sorry, not this Fashion Show Mall side, where is the shopping center. You have the other side, which is Venetian and Venetian Hotel they own, right? And there was this huge conference center right next to it. So it's all connected. Now, another thing I wanted to see, because since I went on this journey, I was like, oh my goodness, this is all connected and I'm just discovering it. How about Steve Wynn, right? Someone who, he was maybe not directly my employer, but Chanel was, leasing the place from the Wynn business and I was working for Chanel, right? So I saw him many times, that's like, this is small world when you're in it. When you work there, you just know who is who, right? But I'm like, wait a second, was he also involved with this Chabad Lubavitch movement. So look at this. Oh my goodness, guys, I'm telling you, it's all connected. So let's look at Steve Wynn and Chabad Lubavitch. Steve Wynn has had a connection with Chabad Lubavitch, having donated large sums to the organization. This connection is noted in various articles, sometimes in the context of his business dealings in Macau, where he was a casino magnate, who was a prominent donor to local Chabad. So absolutely involved with this movement. And I remember exactly when I was still living in Las Vegas that this project Macau was starting to boom. We had a lot of Chinese clients. Actually, there was a celebration of the Chinese New Year's at the Wynn resorts. You know, whatever is the year, like the year of the dragon. I remember exactly the parades with the dragon and all of that. So there is a location in China, and I showed you this on the map, of this Chabad Lubavitch as well. It's all connected. So those two were the competitors. They compete, right? What's the name of this woman again? Miriam Adelson. So Sheldon Adelson and Steve Wynn, they had some issues because, you know, business is business. However, those two were having some how to say it, like they got the first hand, they got some connections because of this Chabad Lubavitch in Macau as far as the deals goes. So let's say maybe other people were applying for the same area, for the same location to build some businesses or other casinos, but those two were definitely number one to consider as far as signing the contracts. No surprise at all. Now you think this is just Trump and you know that Schneerson and the billionaires, just American. Well, not really necessarily, because we're gonna go to this, and I have been showing this to you for the last 2 weeks now, and once I discovered this, I'm like, no, thank you. So let me show you this. Visiting the Jewish Museum and Tolerance. This is from official site of President of Russia. So here we have President Putin. Right behind him is the portrait of the same rabbi that you just saw. This is the Rabbi Schneerson, who that billionaire family was donating money to in 1991. This is the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, and this is the same billionaire family that is supporting Trump's campaign, okay, who loves Israel. So this Jewish Museum and Tolerance Center, this is official website. I put the link down below. From 2013, you think, oh, this is old, it doesn't matter. Well, it's not. Look at my previous videos. You see the connection is still very strong. There is a rabbi designated for the Russian Federation. Lazar is his name. So what is this about? Vladimir Putin visited the Jewish Museum and Tolerance Center, where Hebrew books and manuscripts from the Schneerson collection are housed. So this one has his archives in this museum in Moscow. How nice. I never went there when I was visiting. I don't think even if I would know then what I know now, I wouldn't go there. The president got acquainted with the work of the new specialized library department, which operates as a branch of the Russian State Library. The Schneerson Library is a collection of Hebrew books and manuscripts dating from the 18th century to the beginning of the 20th, and includes about 12,000 books and 50,000 rare documents. I wonder what kind of documents. Vladimir Putin first proposed housing the unique collection at the Tolerance Center in February this year during a meeting of the Presidential Council for interethnic relations. So here is what Putin is saying. I'm not going to read you all of this. Or maybe let me read you what he said. President of Russia Vladimir Putin says, "Friends, good afternoon. I will begin by saying that Russia has been a home to the Jewish people for centuries. Since its very inception, Russia has evolved as a multi-ethnic state, and Jewish individuals have made enormous intellectual, military, and labor contributions to the development of our nation. I'm not going to comment about the Bolsheviks' revolution, but let's continue. Throughout all times, they stood shoulder to shoulder with the other peoples to Russia to defend our nation when necessary, and as I already said, contributed greatly to its development. I am very pleased that the Jewish Museum and Tolerance Center, which opened a year ago, so it was what, 2012? Yeah, a year ago, continues these traditions, showcasing the history of the Jewish people in Russia and in world history overall. It is making and will continue to make a significant input into its purpose of developing the very tolerance I just spoke of. So this guy from this crazy movement, you know, the children trafficking, sacrifice, adrenochrome in Brooklyn, New York, of course, it's just conspiracy what I'm talking about. So this is the guy, this is the leader. Of course, he didn't build the tunnels, but he kind of suggested for those young rabbis to build them. So they built them. Let's continue. We feel that interfaith peace and inter-ethnic and inter-religious harmony are the foundation for the existence and further development of the Russian state. I agree with this sentence, but I don't agree with the Chabad-Lubavitch idea. Let's continue. The Schneerson Library is of interest and great value to Jewish people, not just for Russian Jews, but those living in other nations around the world as well. I hope that when it is transferred to the Jewish Museum and Tolerance Center, this problem will be closed once and for all, because any individual, regardless of whether he or she lives in Russia or abroad, can freely visit and view these rare books. People can view, study, and hold these books in their hands. I would say no, thank you. They can use them to draw knowledge that is highly necessary in today's world, because these books set forth eternal moral, oh my God, moral and ethical values which serve as the basis for any civilized society existing today. I wonder what the Palestinians would say. I met with many of the people sitting in this hall several years ago when rabbis from all around Russia gathered for a meeting at the Kremlin. I know that you, like any military organization, have some job rotation. Job rotation. I hope there are some new faces here today as well. I want to wish you success. Naturally, when I talk about you, military organization, that was a joke, was it? But a great deal of responsibility lies on your shoulders in educating people, supporting each individual that adheres, I mispronounce, to Judaism during difficult moments in their lives. Like Ivanka Trump too, huh? And such a moments, I don't know if it was a difficult moment, but in her life, but she, you know. And such moments occur in the lives of every person of any faith. And here, a kind word and a clergy member's steady hand are always needed. You have a difficult, highly responsible, and exceedingly honorable mission. I want to wish you success. Thank you. So, yeah, what can I say? I'm glad I read that for you guys. Let's just see things more clearly. And if you think that Vatican is any better, you know that John Paul II was the first pope who went to the wall. Let me show you. John Paul II visited the Western Wall. It's this, you see John Paul II in Israel, March 26th, 2000. Actually, he died when I moved to the US, so he died in 2005. During his historic pilgrimage to Israel, he became the first pope to visit the site and placed a prayer note in a crack in the wall, asking for forgiveness for the suffering caused to Jewish people throughout history. So we're gonna end this video today with a clip from a Rumble that is talking about all of this kind of. And I am not talking about Vatican today in details, and I will also not bring that protocols of the elders of the Zion today. That's another video, because I just decided to focus on this. But again, we are, it's all connected. Let's just face it. It's absolutely all connected. Let's take a listen to this video, very quick, to the point. And again, it's all the same soup, just different creatures in it.
The only thing holy in Rome is the stories. They're full of holes. I put the Pope in the same place with Adolf Hitler and the other fascist Nazis. Why does the Pope wear a Jewish yarmulke? Never thought about that? Where's the Jewish yarmulke? Why? The Vatican signed contracts with the Nazis. There were two of them. They were called concordances. Now, how many people know that? The Pope signs contracts with Adolf Hitler. Here's Benito Mussolini in the Vatican signing contracts with the Vatican. Here's the Pope bowing before a mafia. Yeah, you got to ask yourself, how come the Pope has to bow to get the square on his head? You better check this out and figure out, why does the Pope have to bow to politicians? Here is a red shield, Rothschild, and what do you see as a symbol of fascism?
So I know it was a very short clip, but a lot of food for thought, isn't it? And I don't have this particular image in which one of the popes, one of the pretty recent popes, was actually kissing the ring of one of the Rothschilds. So I'm sure you've seen it, many of you. Maybe next video or in the future, we will go back to it. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. Another rabbit hole to dive into, but don't you see the connections? Don't you see it? It really is like, the Wizard of Oz or Lizard of Oz, and a lot of strings. It's like a web, like a spider, main spider that has all those webs all around. Kind of, that's how it looks like. And I think the sooner we see it, the better, but not everyone can see it. Some refuse to, and some just want to be careful because they might lose, money, people, viewers, they might never go to certain countries anymore. That's also the case, and I understand this. I decided to take a risk and talk about it because, that's what I see. So how can I not see it? I cannot unsee it now. I've seen it, and you will not convince me anymore that this is a good person and this is a bad person, because it's really all connected. So thank you so much for supporting me. You, my audience, actually are my supporters, but I know that even if you drift away, I always have God, and God will provide. That's how I have to think. That's how I operate, and it helps me. It helps me, keeps me going, and I appreciate your energy, your support, your donations on PayPal or becoming Patreon member, hitting the thumbs up, leaving the comments, and subscribing if you choose to. Lots of love, everyone. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. The links are down below in the description box. See you in another video. Bye, everyone.